All right. What's up? Good evening, everybody. What's up, everybody? Good evening. All right.
They placed the bodies in the water with their
Oh,
arms.
interesting. All right. All right. So we're not gonna really you were right about the QQQ. Yeah. Yep. But it looks like we haven't lost what we needed to lose to see continuation at the downside. We've only bounced off of it, so I'm not really I actually don't like the fucking setup at all right now for trading going into this week. And we'll go ahead and lead with that. The world's on fucking fire, so, let's see how that plays out this week. We've got core durable goods on Monday or tomorrow morning at 8:30. President Trump is going to be fucking mumbling or something on Tuesday. We're tentative on that date. Wednesday, FOMC statement, federal funds rate, FOMC press conference, and then Thursday, unemployment claims, core PPI month over month as well. There we go. All this week. So got a decent little bit of a data set going into this week. Now, looking at the ETFs, again with the gap down, whatever target got hit to the downside. So if you did trade that down, targets hit, but unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but it's bouncing right now and has already gone to reclaim that floor. So the analysis is really pointless. There's really no point in putting any effort into something when we know that it's likely going to be different by the time that we're open. We've got a box up above. We've already talked about this last week. Maybe a punchback, maybe a retest, but it's literally in between two boxes. So I could give a shit less about this setup going into this week. Until one of those break, of course. ES is same boat. This one actually did make a substantial gap down, retested the first red candles over to its left, and this leaves, of course, a gap to fill and range possibly. You do have a punchback again, so the setups are the same between the Qs and SPY, but this one does have a gap fill. That punchback over 69.50 could lead to the gap fill, which is at 69.80 or the cost basis on SPY. Tap your screen if you guys are on TikTok, if you guys don't mind. Hold on one second. Okay. What's up, Waylon? All right, guys. Last one is RTI. And of course, this one did gap down, continuing to the bottom. It did not. In fact, I'd say right now did open up below that 2663. It's got a gap to go fill, ton of empty space to the upside. So this could create some potential day trading opportunities, which will mostly be ruled by the ranges that they're in, and the ranges that they broke down to get here from. So, but with that being said, the only ETF that I am interested in this week is probably IWM, considering the empty space QQQ with its gap down, unless we can see a punch, again, it's going to be right here. If we see a gap fill rejection continuation to the downside, that's great, but IWM has the most empty space, and probably the most volatility at the moment. So, looking fly. Appreciate that, man. What's good? What's going on? All right. So all three ETFs besides IWM look pretty damn good going into this week. Or IWM looks good going into this week. QQQ and SPY don't look as good, as they are trapped in ranges, and the gap down really didn't accomplish anything but giving it a bounce. So, right. Now, last week we were looking at a few stocks going into this week, which of course, some of those may have gapped down. I talked about the 612 puts on the Qs, but we were looking at Kroger going into this week. This setup does still look pretty good. The only alternative that all Kroger likes to do would be a potential range, but we are looking for Kroger to go and fill this empty space up to 66.17. So that's on the watch list going into this week. Netflix is also another one that we're looking at. And of course, with the gap down on the Qs, we could expect for Netflix to be somewhere in here, which will have me in a position, but would possibly allow me to average down, which I don't do often either, and shoot for that $88 target. So those are the two main stocks I have on my watch list at the moment. There's a couple of bystanders that we're still looking at. Want to update you guys on ELF or Celsius equity. I'm still holding some of the equity here. I was really impressed by the way that it's holding at the moment and sitting underneath this box. So I'm watching this week to see if I want to potentially add to this for what could be a $91 target. ELF is also another really good setup, but it did go up and tap that 90, a little bit above $96. So we'll see what that one does this week. But if it gaps down, that could open up the potential for a gap fill to the upside, which a lot of these gap downs may. But that one's obviously doing quite well as well. All right. So Netflix, Kroger. Yeah, SoFi. I did want to talk about this one because it is getting close to a break. It had 3 bars right here. I'm still in a short position. I'm only down 14%. But I would like to see this one. If it does gap down and it's not below 25.25, then we're going to be staying in a box, and I'm not really looking to trade that at all. So just to go ahead before I start doing analysis for you guys, I bypassed my goal for this month by far, basically surpassing about $40,000 this month as we close the end of the month. So my goal is surpassed, and I'm simply looking to manage my father-in-law's account, and probably not going to be managing anything other than the positions that I'm currently holding at the moment. So this week will probably be focused on you guys and finding some small account trades, but do I have a max percentage stop loss? It depends on what the position is, but not generally. No. I try to circumvent that by yeah, I try and circumvent that with expiration and or low risk. So, all right. What are you doing, Junior?
Another 367. Let's do it, baby. And I'm fucking done, baby. That's it. Only fucking son.
That's cool. All right. Yeah. All right. So this is all on you guys. If you have anything you want me to take a look at, going into Shirley sent you here. Shirley? No way. Shirley, oh man, we love Shirley in the chat. Is she live right now? I just saw that video. What video? Oh yeah, I did forget to go over one more thing that we do have coming up into this week. Where did it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I believe it's right here. Yeah, so Monday we got and again it's Nucor, AGNC, TXN. I'm not gonna go through all of these, but I do have my eyes on a couple. We can go ahead and if you guys have any chart requests for any of these earning stocks, please let me know that they have earnings. But this is all for you guys. So if you have any requests, please go ahead and drop them now. And let's see if we can't find any good setups going into this week. Thank you guys for the gifts and stuff. Oh, thanks, Bobby. I appreciate that, man. Meta up, expiration Friday. I am pretty happy about this one. I do like it over Friday's high. I do expect a gap down, which could keep us in range. And have us retesting 649.86. Hold on one second. She was in here earlier. Okay, dope. Sorry. Try not to choke on camera. So I do like Meta. I like Meta outside of 670, 188. I think there's a huge potential to make a lot of cash up to 700, and obviously there's a lot more empty space beyond that. So there's room for runners there. I've got the target basically around $700, but yes, I do like Meta. This will be something that we look at tomorrow morning. If you guys would like to grab your pen and pencils. If you do not have a good watch list this week, let's see if we can build one. So definitely Meta. Kroger's is on there. Netflix is on there. And of course, Meta continuation, which I've made so much money. Half of my gains this month came strictly from Meta alone. All right. Let's see here. Hey, Shirley here. Oh man. Yo, thank you, Shirley, for telling everybody to hop over. That's cool. Yeah, I do like Meta really well. Again, it's been a ridiculous setup. So great movement too. It's really cool that I nabbed that one. I mean, you haven't seen that movement since November. Everything since then has been untradeable. It's like knowing when to hop in, man. It just makes me feel like it makes me feel good about myself, but it also makes me a lot of money. So futures is filling its gap. I expected it would. All right. So Meta, what else do we have here? Looking at stocks, do you look at having a consolidation box even at all-time highs? How do you create a price target with structure above? With structure above, I'm aiming for structure. So this is a great example, right? Points of contact represent the floor. So that would be the first logical target, 691.84. And then I focus on what's in the most recent price action, which would be like 698, so on and so forth. But yes, I mean, as far as all-time highs goes, uh, I don't have a system for that. and I'm okay with that because my system thrives off of structure and empty space. So, which comments am I reading? Shirley, you sent a lot of people over here. I really appreciate that. Pat Bree, Copper, Alternative Sister. Wouldn't you like to know maybe Craze Panda, but what's a month gain for you? It fluctuates, but generally, I try to shoot for 30K. That covers everything. That lets me set money aside. I blew past that with a 48K gain. So we'll see if we can't finish the month strong. But at this point, looking to withdraw and start over again. So all right, keep dropping your requests. If you're on TikTok, I need your fingers. Pause. Never mind. Resume. All right, BA to the upside. All right, so I told you guys I like this one. It did hit the imbalance, but when it pulled back, it did build off of that 249.50. So my friend, this is going to be what you lean on going into this week. You want to bounce off of that possibly again, or just make that break, but you're in between the trigger to break and the trigger to fall, so it's up to you. But it's there for sure. Yes, I'm holding Kroger's until it gets to my target for sure. UNH on earnings. You know what? You know what I find interesting though, and I know some of you guys, you're busy and if you're watching this back on YouTube, but 10 minutes before the bell, my views shoot up to 170, 160. But on Sundays, when we're doing this work, it's you guys. And it's usually like 25 or 30 or 50 maybe, but I'm not saying that to ruffle any feathers, but if you are here, uh congrats. You know what I mean? Because you are showing up when it actually matters. And this is when it matters. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. After watching all the news and stuff, not even watching the news, I don't watch the news, but after seeing all the things that are happening right now in this world, I didn't want to be here, but I know that showing up matters, even when you don't feel like it. So if you're here, if you can't be here because you just can't be here and you're watching this back later, awesome. I get it. But if you're here, if you're playing video games right now and you're watching this back later, shame on you. I hope you lose. I hope you come in last. I hope your Fortnite restarts and all your skins are gone. All right. Thank you for going live. Yeah, man. All right. So let's see here. Starbucks up. So if you've been in Starbucks, which we talked about this one months ago, loving the consolidation, loving the base, kind of inevitable that it's going to break out, triggered the floor, triggered the 50% mark, and now it is up against that high we talked about at 97. I love the empty space to 103 and yeah, I mean, fuck it, no, 103, and of course all the way up into the 108s. But it does look good, and there's really not much else to say. But we got earnings, right? So earnings has empty space. I like the setup. Hedges maybe around 93, but it looks good. Looks really good. Brother, it's okay to be angry. Trust me, I am. You didn't do the last one? Which one? BA? Oh, Fig. This one doesn't seem to be responding to its floor very well, but it is building. My thoughts on this one are the first target outside of the open was right here, and you tapped it, right? So now it's probably a lower time frame, and where do you need to hold? And it seems like you are holding, so your best bet is sideways, but I did talk about a potential retest in here to build up into that, so I would be looking. Anyone has trouble with top step? Yeah. What you got to be angry about, Mr. 48K? Listen, money is not the most important thing in the world to me, surprisingly. You know what I mean? Like I don't make 48 bands and then I'm like okay with watching my fellow citizens get shot. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not okay with what's happening. Yeah. Money is not, again, I'm thankful, but I also worked for this, but it doesn't have anything to do with what's going on in the world, you know? All right. But we're here and we're finding a good we're doing it. All right, let's see here. What else do we got? Arm up. So you refused that floor or something fierce. 123.50 refused to budge. But you did fall quickly, which this could be beneficial for your cause. So let's actually get rid of everything because I think what's going to be needed here is you're going to need to focus on the lowest time frame where you've got the bounce right here. You have an old box or range that you actually had to bounce out of. So we can mark this area as a recovery point. We can mark this area as the range that you're trading in currently. So above 116.45, look for that 118.50 floor, and that could go and fill. But if this does make that 113 break, look for a retest down below around 120, 110, excuse me. Sorry. UNH, did I not do that one? Oh, my bad. So I think I said this last week. I think at the four, yeah. So it was a box that you punched through previously, but cost basis will still be relevant at 360. And then from that point, you're going to be looking at a 371 target. UNH has been traveling inside of a lower time frame channel, looking for a break of that control. But I do think that 360 will be that mark. So pay attention to that. BA, I did this one. BA is up against the trigger it needs to go to break, and above the trigger it needs to go down. So 248.88, we need to retest it. And then 254.622, we need to break it so we can reach into the 258.44s. 250, wait, did I say 254? Yeah. The monthly setups. That's because of the setup. I mean, yeah, somebody brought this to my attention last week. That's why I have a setup on it. I think I mentioned that you needed a break above that 73.38, and it was 77 that you were looking for to the upside. Not a big fan of this one, just because of how, I mean, it's a ridiculous amount of empty space, and I would expect that if it is going to fill that up, you could be looking at consolidation, looking out as far as this. So it might even be some fundamental research that gets it done, but it's got a good setup, but the stock itself falling like that, not sure. So Lulu is starting to make its way back onto the radar. It's definitely going to be a watch, not a necessarily watch list, but want to see how it moves. It left empty space behind, retested its own imbalance before heading down. And so it would be likely underneath 186.14 that will fill all the way into the 173s. And then and again, if that happens, Lulu is going to be set up something disgusting going into earnings because this is exactly the kind of price action that you want to see going into the with this sort of setup. Lulu has tremendous potential. And so it's definitely something it's actually something I'm thinking about equity wise. We'll see how it goes, but I want to see how it responds to what's underneath it because ultimately that's going to dictate what we where we go from there. So, all right. Lulu. Oh, I mean, not Lulu. Amazon. Look at this one. So weekly candle not looking good. I mean, it is looking good about or for getting outside of your previous resistance marks. Um, and then here, I mean, really the upside signal for the bigger move lies there, and that would be your my first retest level. But because of futures gapping down, it could be here that you end up retesting and then getting that floor. So 24-hour, the fuck only include the 24-hour time frame. I gotta stop doing that. I think that when people put TF, they're saying the fuck. It only includes pre-market, regular hours, and after hours. Yeah, the market's not open 24 hours, so it includes everything. Yeah, everything is included by that. Yeah, for sure. No, it does not. It does not invalidate it moving forward because if you think about it, a wick is fast price action moving up and then immediately reversing, which typically is lower time frame, empty space. So, no. Oof, brother, this thing looks like that. So this was a box that you have already punched through. Somewhere in here is where I would be looking for a touchdown. Oof, has earnings. Well, here's the first thing. One of the recipes for earnings is does it move? And it looks like here you got a 261. I had to look at the contracts. I'd have to look at the contracts because it does look good. 295 and then maybe 243. So I don't know. Someone's interesting. Contracts are dead. It's been 7 months since. Oh, you know what? You might have to wait a little longer, dude. Did I miss UPS earnings down? No. I don't know. I don't know, man. That one came down on a monthly level, which just goes to show you the fucking setup is the same across all time frames. You know what I mean? I don't know if if this one necessarily looks short. I mean, you could even say there's a 121 move maybe to the upside. Uh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one. Yeah, I'm on the East Coast. That would be fire. That would be really, really fire. If you could get it, yeah. Honestly, that's not bad at all. You just need to go and find the floor. Where's the floor? Yeah, dude. I mean, honestly, that does not look bad at all. For as a liquid as it looks like it is, that's not a bad setup. So, yeah, not bad. Potter, do you have a limit of trades you like to be in weekly, regardless if the setup looks good? I can't really handle more than 3, my guy. So, safe to say that 80% of this month's money you made are from the 4 to 24-hour setups, not lower time frame. I would maybe even say higher than that. Yeah, like 90% of the trades that I made. It's always like that. It's always been like that. No, we didn't get any ice. No ice down here. But you are 100% correct. Yeah. It's something I'm trying to convince people because, like, I look at the setups on I look at the setup on QQQ and ES right now, and I see nothing. Fuck that. Because everything that could happen is potentially there, right? The triggers are here, but they're there, but they're not they're not where we're at now. They said this water has a high level of cyanide. Shit. You know, it's not sounding that bad right now. Just kidding, but get in there. Get in there. It makes me stronger. I gotta look that up. Let's look it up. Yeah, you gotta send me that link. All right. What else do we have? GM earnings down. You know what? It's a little risky. It's a little risky because you still have the setup to go and punch over or move back up and out. Um, it's not the worst setup in the world, and we know that GM can get it done for the most part. But I mean, I could see this candle really fucking with people if it doesn't get down to that 7,350. So, yo, thank you guys for tapping. They are even being sued, but I will send it. Yeah, send it. Can't trust any fucking thing, can you? You either make it yourself or you fucking. Yeah, I'm probably gonna average down on that one too. So, not a lot of people here tonight, so not a lot of requests. But if anybody has anything else they'd like for me to take a look at, we've covered a decent bit. Kroger, Netflix, Meta, Lulu on the watch list right now. If you have anything you would like for me to take a look at, Drop that in there. Let's see here. MasterCard has earnings this week. Meta has earnings this week. You know, Meta, yeah, that one's going to be interesting. The whole ass NASDAQ. You know, I've never really looked at that. What if that one has good options? I don't think I've ever traded it. I know about it though. Does it move on earnings? Fuck yeah, it does. Holy shit. At least it did there. That was a huge jumper. Damn. But it didn't hold. That was shit. So what was the recipe? You went into earnings with that's actually a kind of interesting little earnings setup, man. I'd have to take a look at the contracts on that one. I corrected last night. Getting into the danger zone, man. One thing I know about ANF is it will fill up every fucking little bit of empty space before it's done. So underneath 93.29, you know, you'd hope for maybe a little bit of a like consolidation, but the thing, Abercrombie did it here. Big ass rip, big ass dump, fill. So I mean, like, you could be looking at the exact same scenario here. That was the old channel. Yeah. So maybe you're in balance at 83.70. Oracle's really not showing any signs of life and might even gap down. But with that being said, if you do stay in this box, you might be able to look for a reversal bounce back up into this gap at 191. But there is still more downside to 165 if that low is lost. So, I mean, as of right now, you're just in range. That one I'd look at in the morning. So I'm looking at this one again. I expect it to gap down. If it's somewhere around there, I'd like a little tap and then pop and gap fill. So this will be a good day trade, I think, for tomorrow. So I like that one. Archer. What are you looking to do to this one? Is this the right one? Isn't it? There's two of them. Archer Aviation. I've given up on this one. I won't be trading it. I'm not gonna, I'm sure it'll get there. It's staying in range, but at this point, it's not a good setup anymore. If this is the one that you're looking at, unless that arch one was the one you're looking at, but I definitely need to know which direction you're looking at it. So I worry about setups like this because of how much they've lost, but this is where you got to zoom back. And I would actually say probably the weekly might even be a great place to place your targets. Yeah, so look at what you're tapping now. So this is just fucking a game of like, if this, then that. I mean, if you get 972, you get 1072 would be my first guess. So that's got to translate, you know, down into the lower time frame. The 24-hour has, you know, good consolidation, but, you know, looking at how this one moves, it could use a little bit more of it if it wanted it to. So interesting. AMSC, that one's still on the watch list going into this week. Yeah, make sure you write that one down. I don't want to miss that one. I've missed a couple I've missed a couple really. I say that now. That's where I can't complain at all because I, you know, almost make $50,000 and you complain you missed a couple. But I do feel, dude, I can't stop thinking about Abbott. I can't stop thinking about Abbott because I told him I was like, you know what, I'll put fucking 900 in that. And that would have been a bag, but you know, BA, you can look at that one on YouTube. I have that one already posted. So a lot of the ones on TikTok you guys are posting, I've already done. You can go watch them back in the setup. So, listen, for Bugatti, be patient, and I hope a lot of you aren't going to get fried on this one because you jumped the gun. But yes, you did close below the floor. Yes, you did it with empty space, so it's still possible to see a punchback. But the reality is here, right? We if we're looking down towards the lows, it'll be here. So and that'll be a punch down below like 2220 that we could shoot for that target to the downside. So if you're looking for that setup, it's there. But you got to lose a little bit more. So and if it gaps down, you have potential to gap fill. So imbalance is just a fancy way of 50% mark. So how much you spend in your father-in-law account per trade? It's a $2,000 account, so I plan on using about $150 to $200 per trade. No ODTEs with that risk, and no weekly contracts beyond Wednesday will be the risk going into that account. So he's got $2,000. I'm just gonna. It's got to be perfect. You know what I mean? So 150, $200. I can make some damn good money with that. So crazy. TikTok. Vivian, thank you for the rose. Microsoft needs to get through the box. It's very simple, but you did wick off of that box, so more than likely you're going to need to experience a retest. I believe that retest will likely come around 463.31 and or 461.50. Or excuse me, sorry, I take that back. 461 flat. But it is going to be above 471 that you can. Yeah. Should trade for your sister-in-law while she has her hands full. Yeah. I mean, we'll definitely work on that, but she's got to get. Um, she still has to have a little bit more knowledge on what's going on. I know that my father-in-law can't look at the market at all. Right now she's dealing with a baby, so she definitely has a. She hadn't asked. I'll be honest with you. She just didn't ask me. You know what I mean? She asked me if I would teach her, and so that's what I'm doing. Let's see here. Rise and shine. Thank you for the gifts, dude. Appreciate that, man. All right, what else do we got? VFC down. VFC down. Well, Jesus Christ, fingers. So if this experience is a rejection, and that's the thing, is you have to find out what needs to be lost in order to trigger that. And it looks like it is cost basis, so 1918 would be the first target. So SMR was it still is holding. I've said this before on the 24-hour, which is the most important time frame. You went red, but when you did, you fell, I don't want to say too quick, but so I mean the goal here is to get above 21. I mean, it's plain and simple. We need to get above $21. You need a 24-hour candle close above that in order to trigger to the upside, and you must hold 1820 in order to have that opportunity. So all right. Mark. Somebody asked me about this one short. I said if the 3 rejections off the top play out, sure, but you still need to watch 107. I stand by that. 107, and then when below 106, that's when things could get juicy down to 102. So I like that one. Although at the same time, it is a box. So if you end up finding a floor and punching through this 50% mark, you're looking at new highs and your trajectory is up. No, I did that one. Jesus Christ. Crocs has earnings. I think that one's hit or miss on earnings. Yeah, I've tried that one before. Um, not great. You know what? It's actually better. You know how I figured this out recently. The best place to trade Crocs, and it does have has had expansion, and maybe the time is coming soon where that cycle repeats itself, and maybe the channel is starting to speak to that. But it's funny; these wide channels are kind of straightforward in terms of like buying and selling decently. Um, but with that being said, going into earnings, yes, there is an empty space up above you, and it's ultimately through the $90 mark that we could trigger a trade up to 97. Uh, Earnings has been pretty surprising here and there, I will say that. So you're going into, yeah, you know what? I'll write it down. I'll write it down. That one's interesting, actually. I'm gonna have to go back and watch some finishing prepping in case of power loss. Yeah, hopefully everybody's staying safe right now. Sounds like my kind of trades. I'm not even close to your league yet. You can still make money. You don't have to be. I mean, I'm good at things I wasn't good at, but when I just started this, I still made money by swing trading. You know what I mean? I just had to keep it simple and not do dumb shit like day trade. That was a rule of mine for years. Years. All right, let's see. Iron. So this one, it is building. I've talked about this one before. I know I've seen some other creator watching it, but anyway, yeah, there's a floor up above us that needs to be reclaimed. There is empty space up at the top, so of course, if that could get started, but the next target is $63 directly up above you. If that target can be reclaimed with a 24-hour candle close or 4-hour candle close, or if you're looking a little higher, $59 on the 2-hour time frame could lead you to that $63 target. So. CRM. I don't want to say no on the potential for the upside here. You can see that the old range, the 50% mark, is what's holding you down as per usual. So I would look for a retest possibly off of this floor again to get the volume you need. Maybe a gap down happens, and that could shoot you straight up to that 233 mark. So I'd be looking for that first. Above that, you might have a pretty good ass play on your hands. So yeah, it's not a bad setup. If that's a retest and you lose, though, no bueno. My girlfriend just got McDonald's without you. You don't need McDonald's, dude. That shit's disgusting. I actually was like, I got this random, insane craving. You would have thought I was pregnant. Um, I got a McChicken sandwich from McDonald's, and I pulled up because I was like, I'm not door dashing that. It's just gonna be gross. I pulled up and I got one, dude, straight in the trash. I threw it straight in the trash. I couldn't do it. It tasted so bad. So every trade for your father's in-law is going to be more than 1 week contract. Sorry, I tried to follow your plan. I got 2K in my account. Yeah, that's my goal. Yeah, to keep it about a week out. I don't, and then, one position at a time, period. Try not to lose. What's Potter Drive? Potter Drive. That sounds like a road. The Potter Box? Oh. My dream car was always a 4Runner. So I have a 4Runner. And then my family car, you guys can't know. I'm not telling you guys what my car is. You never know what might happen. Plus, Ice might be watching. It's very nice. At Lamb Weston. This one looks like it needs a box bad. Looks like it needs a box bad. So you had to punch through this box to get here. You left empty space behind doing so. You built a box here. So if you punch down through this, I would assume something like that. And I would assume something like this. So it needs more structure, I believe, in order to keep going higher. What's the watch list looking like? Kroger, Netflix, Meta, Lulu. I'm also looking at Crocs and NASDAQ earnings and then AMSC as well. Something fresh. Dooku? Doku? You're talking about Roku? Y'all got autocorrect on for real. I have equity in this one. I have a decent bit of equity in this one, but we're not getting anything out of this one until 111.50 and realistically just 115 breaks. There's nothing. One day, I mean, if you look at this one on the monthly, um, I think Roku is bottomed out. Fuck. I mean, looking at the monthly chart makes me want to buy more, but I mean, at the end of the day, um, gotta wait for the triggers. So. 3/6 expiration, but based off recovery safer, but I can't speak on that, but I can. Yeah, I mean, I feel good about the break to 62. 227. You should be fine. That's more than a month out. You should be fine. Yeah, I did that one. Oh, I did the Qs, ES, and SPY at the beginning of this. I'll double check to see what the NQ's up to here. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This just took the wind out of my sails for anything. I mean, you're in between this box and this box. It's just that simple. So I do not trade in between. I should probably actually make a video about this. This is a perfect example of when I don't trade. If it opens up different, fine, but I don't. I don't trade in there. Yeah. Uh, Bill. Same for 50. I don't know about all that. But it can't apparently it just goes on these fucking generational, not generational, but it goes on these fucking massive runs, even in its bear market. I don't know, man. Don't you know what? Don't let me fucking speak too much into this one. But let's look at the monthly. I mean, it's obviously gotten it done. Look. I mean, empty space gets filled. So I would set an alert here at 50-70 first. But long haul, that one might be an interesting setup. Why don't I trade in there? That's when the most difficult price action or hardest price action. That's actually when structure is built, boxes are built. And the toughest place to make money is where movement isn't occurring. The toughest place to hold on to value for contracts is in range. So when something has, and there, there's going to be day trades for sure available. But I don't trade in between, because again, folks, I feel like this is something I got to make really clear. I, in order for me to slip through the cracks, right, I had to focus on the bigger moves because my logic of bigger moves, bigger gains, right? Higher price targets, bigger, more money. And so that also is, what lets me take these big leaps forward, which then also lets me speculate, which, I make money off of doing that as well. But um, that's um, that's only done when higher time frame ranges are broken, not when you're stuck in them, because that's where the contract prices, which were expensive last week, lose their value. And that's when I back off. And again, I've repeated this and shown you guys this lesson now. And I'll do it now again because it's worth doing. One of the biggest reasons that people lose money is because they don't know when to trade. And it's easy to get pulled into these lower time frame. It actually plagues me. It's just now I felt like I had a mental that shit just shot me in the head because I see so many new traders make this mistake and just keep making the same mistake. It's like these places here are not for you. These are not for you. These are not for you. This is not for you. This is not for you. That's not for you. You know what I'm saying? This is not for you. Shit, I'd even say that's not for you. And it's these places where people who are newer and even veterans lose, even me. I lose the most in these ranges. And so if you guys look through the gains page of my Discord, you will see a wave of IWM, wave of SPY, wave of Qs, 3 days, 4 days, and then it's done. And then I move on. And I think my ability to like do that and recognize that I've gotten the higher time frame move lets me know that it's time to back off, because if you're not going to give me that big move, I don't fucking want it. I don't want to be a part of it, and I don't need to try to sit there inside of a box and try to anticipate that. That's stupid. And it's like, if you're trying to prove a point, cool, do that. But then tell me how you feel afterwards. Like, was it really worth it? But other than that, like, if you knew that the market moved the most after 4 to 5 days of sideways price action, why the fuck wouldn't you just wait for that? You could make all the money that everybody's trying to make in range in those few days. Or move on. Move to something else. Find a individual equity. Build a new watch list. But you're just not gonna fucking. I mean, I'm getting a lot of DMs over the last couple of weeks too of people saying like, they're just can't get a grip. They're making stupid little trades and stupid. And it's like, man, maybe you need to pull money out every time you make it, because a growing account tempts you and leads you to be buying shit that you shouldn't be buying. But I mean, knowing when to trade and being a little bit more, how I would say, like, once you get the system down, you need to be a little bit more nonchalant. You know what I'm saying? Like, be a little bit more like chill. Don't be so thirsty. Think of it like dating. You know what I mean? Like, if the thirstier you are, the more that like this shit's gonna reject you. You look for, again, through observation. It's not like I'm making this shit up. You know what I mean? It's not like I want to tell you that sometimes you can't, but you can't. But I mean, how many times have we gone through this, folks? How many, those of you who are not getting it, how many times do we have to go through this, right? For you to just say, okay, well, maybe he's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, move. Now, in this space, there was definitely a move, but the range stays, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, finally, a move. You get a pullback, retest, and then continuation. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how many days it moves in a row. We had the same thing, 1, 2, 3, and then you kind of stop, 4, and that's sideways for 2 days. The market typically runs 3 to 4 days, and it chops for 4 to 5. And if you can just get with that picture and then start looking for setups as that tension goes to break or as you build that structure, then you're better off. But I cannot tell you how many times we've pulled up to these ETFs to find them in range and be like, okay, now's our time. You're doing the opposite of what everybody else is doing. So, you know what's beautiful about this, guys? That not a lot of you guys might not even think about. Big moves happen, we catch them. We back off. Everybody just sees the big move happen. They rush forward. They start trading. They turn to liquidity. They get chopped up. The contracts drop. People cast it off. I'm not trading this. I'm backing off. That's no good to trade. That's not moving. That's in consolidation. And then what? We make money. So it's a system of push and pull, and you're either getting pushed or you're pulling. I mean, and I again know to show up when the consolidation happens, not after the move does. So, all right. Do I have an equity? I mean, I have lists that I'm in. All right, let's see what else we got. Bill. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We just looked at that one. All right. Let's do a couple more here. We've been live for about an hour. Here. I mean, it's hard to not want to take this one to the upside. I will say this, folks. I'm going to be hedging, and I might take some $22 puts because if this thing is likely to get bought out, I'm curious on if they don't leave this for later on. But my hope here is, like everybody else's, that we come off of that second bounce and we go and clear up to 31. So, I mean, I'm with you guys on that one. It'd be nice to get an update, on what's going on. So, what is what? I spoke about this one on Friday. You need a reclaim of 136.81. You did reclaim that on, yeah. So the weekly candle wick is 131.71. Target 1. The body is 137.50 or 43. Excuse me. What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? I like how a bunch of people just showed up now. That's crazy. All right. Alta. That one's at all-time highs. So I really can't help you on that one. The only one that I'm looking at it is Elf, and that one's my baby. I have so much damn money in Elf. God damn, this shit looks so good. Even if you want to look at it from that perspective, it looks good. Just got to get back up here, baby. These are the two most important levels for Elf right now. So, all right. Um, so I think what we need to do here, guys, going into tomorrow, um, is really wait for pre-market. So that's exactly what we'll do. Is we'll see if any of these open up right now. The watch list again is Kroger, Netflix, Meta, Lulu, AMSC. Got earnings for looking at earnings for Crocs and NDAQ or Nasdaq. Pins. Meta also has earnings this week, so there's going to be so Meta is also obviously an earnings play, but Visa. So weekly, last week's candle. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, obviously, last week's candle somehow was green on the weekly. But I mean, that is a vicious fucking hold. That's actually kind of wild. Um, but with the opportunities to the upside, I def am that much consolidation. It's obviously worth looking for a break. Um, I would actually do it like this. It has earnings. Oh shit. Yeah, it does. I will say this: it's not a good unless you're just looking to the upside. It could be a really good earnings setup. The fact that you're holding the way that you are, that could be a great earnings setup. But is it a earnings setup that I like? No, not at all. Okay, Gonzo, good, good. Yeah, trash, trash, trash for sure. Ugh, awful. I don't like that shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. Right there, like, yeah, when I don't understand something, if it's not clear, I mean, I've had years of experience. I know what a good setup looks like. If it does not fucking launch itself off the screen right into my fucking eyeballs and into my cranium and trigger a dopamine response, you get no love. Oops. Oh, if you have USAR, you're about to cook. That looks good. Now that's not coming off of structure, but you can raise the question and just say 131.50 needs to be reclaimed. You're building a box, so it's going to start with a 129.22 break over that structure. The 24-hour is going to be way different because you have multiple ranges. So we're going to look at this, right? And again, this isn't a liquid piece of poop. That is not a range. That is a box. So we'd be looking for a 125.82 break to the upside, and that could get you started. I think it's pretty clear. Yeah, that is the 24. That is 131.50. So that is the level that I was just speaking about. The target beyond that, the first floor, would be 136.18. So not bad. A shoe buster. There you go. I think USAR just got news. I said this one has empty space all the way to 30. I wouldn't be surprised if you are holding USAR, which well, I don't know how many of you still are. 3050 would be the next target. Period. If we gap up overnight. So Priority win over Kroger Willie. Go check the YouTube. That one's fire. Geo looks good. I mean the fact that yeah. Where's their fucking headquarters? You got to be an evil fucking person, dude. Anyway, yes, it has empty space up to 2015. Whoever owns this company, you got to go to the Lonesome Valley. Is UNH gonna hit what? 400? I reckon. It does look good to go. The weekly looks great. The weekly, as long as it gets a candle open or slash close outside of 1361, yeah, that could be. You said USAR. Oh, did it? Is it really? It's at $29. Oh, you guys should be fucking gooning. Yeah, Bitcoin, dude. I still don't know about this downside shit. This downside trickery, if you will. I'm not so sure. I'm still curious. It's leaving a lot of empty space behind. Um, it did hit the bottom of a floor. So I still, yeah. My question is, are we maintaining an uptrend still? Whatever uptrend that was is not it. Sneaky, sneaky. I don't know, man. You dumped pretty fast. You're hitting the floor. I would look at the 88 retest first. There might be something there. Now that's one fucking mouthful of a name right there. Leichkrieger Friedval. You said silver? What is fucking silver? I forgot silver futures. Fuck, I always forget silver futures. Hey, shut up, Jose. Oh, dude, look at yeah, XRP is fucking ripping ass. It's funny to watch. Yeah, empty space. Dude, maybe I should get into trading crypto because honestly, this shit's fucking mad easy. Every time I do analysis on this thing, I'm like, come back and there it is. That's not what you do when you're bullish. That's not what you do when you're bullish. When are we shorting XRP? When are we shorting this? Hold on a second. Yeah, this might be the start of my fucking cryptocurrency Michael Burry era. Hold on. Dude, what the fuck? No way. No way. To at least the imbalance. Come on. I get like a tingly feeling in my gut when I look at this chart. I'm gonna find out how to short this, and I'm gonna short it. Be 1-4 first, but I don't know, man. Yes. All right. Sorry. I was just having a Jimmy Neutron brain blast over this thing. All right, let's do one last blast of analysis. See if we can't find anything else. I'm gonna speed run them. Speed run. Let's go. Drop it. I think it's gonna dump with Bitcoin. Maybe. Let me look at Bitcoin really quick on a weekly. Listen, no, we get retests. You just see how you come back. Okay, hold on. I found a perfect example. Let me do this side by side. So look at that, and then you know what I'm saying? It's all there, dude. The only difference is that it didn't keep bouncing off the floor. It just hit the floor and died. This one keeps pulling the volume up, using it to retest, then killing it again, and then using it to retest, and then killing it again. So one more retest, and I begin my career as the crypto market's Michael Burry. All right. Yeah, I kind of want to short it. You know what? After last Mr. I can't say your name. But you know who you are. I can't say that name. What the fuck is happening right here, brother? Oh my god, did you... Brother, what are we doing here, man? What we got going on, brother? How do I get out of this? How do I make it go away? I don't like that I can't get out of here. I made the... There it is. I can't say... You need to change your name, dude. Collab stream or not? You're crazy. You're crazy, bruh. Anyway. What do you want me to look at? AAON. I am looking at this, dude. What in God's name? You know what? That's enough to piss off the Pope. Okay, so you reject. How'd you get there? You got there through that, so you would need to lose the 92.19 floor, and then you could short it back down. But why? I feel you on that one, Vic. You're trying to get better at using the Potter box. This is not the. I mean, I will say this structurally, it's okay. Expiration wise, sure. But when I'm dealing with something that punched back, punched down, right? You have a box and you're in between the two of them. I'm on standby, not trying to pick a bias, right? Because do you have this? Have you lost this? No. Those two. How much is your VIP? I don't have VIP. There's no such thing as VIPs. You're either in my Discord or you're not. If you ever see somebody selling VIP shit, they're a scammer. VIP. If you get anything VIP, you should have nipple clamps on. Or somebody should be rubbing their body on you. Or you should be getting free hot dogs while you watch the game inside of a warm booth. Those are the only three acceptable. That's 6. There's only 3 acceptable VIP experiences, and I don't offer any of them. So AGIO. All right. I feel a little bit better about that. I did almost go to this massage place one time, but my wife saw a VIP sign on the front. She told me no. What do you do? This is a pharmaceutical stock, so if you could be like, yeah, I don't even know how to describe the feelings I have towards them, but there is empty space up above it. I want to just use this as an example. You do operate well on the weekly with a good punch back through that box, retesting that floor, and then that previous cost basis shot you down. So just like that old one, you're going to need to break over 20 or 30 bucks. You would need a reclaim of 31.84, and I think that gets you rolling up to 35.50. So, ooh, I'm hungry. I say let CVLT, but you're crazy, Jose. Uh, you see it different? Well, show me your chart. Let me see your chart in the chat or something. MSTR, this has got to be the easiest fucking chart. One of the easiest charts in the market. Dead ass. Is the easiest chart of the market. It is probably one of the easiest ways for me to simplify the concept of how sellers control the price. Like, this is legitimately candle close. This is a cage, right? You're trapped. And you can see that every time price tries to escape, they pull it back in. So what do you think breaks that trap? A candle close outside of that. Now on the weekly, it's 180, 183.29. On the 24-hour, it's 190, 128. Although that same weekly level is still acceptable because it is above a candle close. So it does look good. It does look good. APP, this could be honestly, this is a really interesting setup as well because you have opportunity both above, I would say more above. I mean, the end of the empty space is so close. This down here is, not even really something I typically like to deal with anyway. I mean, but it's still empty space within it. But the thing that makes this such an attractive setup is look at the wick. It's off the bottom of that green candle, so above 535.84. We could look at an empty space play up to 604, which, yeah, it's pretty loosey-goosey ass price action up there, so there's not a lot of overhead volume there to resist you. I'm redoing some of the Potterbox videos right now on my YouTube channel. You sent it in the Discord trading chat. Hmm. So your boxes that are no. Okay, so I see what you're doing. What was the name of that fucking company again? AGIO. Yeah, I see what you're doing. So you have your chart like this, right? You can't do that, right? That's not that wouldn't be what is more than likely occurring, right? Is you are just flat. You have this right here, which probably is operating as a channel. But I couldn't even really put a box label on this. I could only put a box label on that. Also, you better clean your screen, buddy. Oh, we're look for context clues in the background. What's that say? How about work safety? Mm-hmm. Safe material handling. Oh yeah, he'd be doing some crazy shit. You guys probably use a forklift. Pick up missiles. I'm joking with you, dude. I know. I'm messing with you. He's at walk. All right. O'Reilly Auto Parts. I love that jingle. TSM to the upside. Do you think it's left the box? I think there's got to be an in-stage liquidation event, dude. Uh, dude, honestly, I think what did you say? I think it's left a box. I'd say, wow, what a weird ass little setup right there, my boy. I thought it would get simpler as you go down in a lower time frame, but it seems to be okay. Now it's a little bit more simple. Okay, so you need a reclaim 337. You don't really even have a clear setup up there, truthfully, but you do have a good little. Oh yeah. So I'd be looking up for 341.80 probably to go maybe fill that gap. 342.60. Not bad. All right. It has been hour and 30 minutes, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and call it a night. I'll see you guys at 8 o'clock in the morning. Hopefully you guys are there. How do you use your channel? I'm gonna be making a video on that this week. If I don't lose my fucking mind before the end of the week. But anyway, oh my god, dude. Brother's gonna fit right into the Discord. That's crazy. All right, I will see you, lady. Mr. Brother. I feel like you just try to get me to say your name. That's crazy. What? You've been drinking. Oh my god. Somebody had some peanut butter and jelly shots. All right, guys, I'm gonna go get beaten by my wife. Um, so I will see you guys tomorrow. If I have any bruises, I fell down the stairs because I am very prone to falling down the stairs. I'm gonna go. Should- All right, guys. Peace. No, just kidding.